Yo, what's up, guys? How was your weekend? What's going on, Curtis? What's up, Bull Runner? Happy Queens, good to see you. Barb, what's going on? Mortimer, what's up, man? Oh, my weekend was fantastic, man. Thanks for asking. Kango, good to see you. What's up, JB? Awesome, bro. All right. Let's jump on into this. Okay. So, rate cuts week, right? So, our 4-hour is fighting to hold on here. We took the liquidity here. We've taken that liquidity. We rejected from our supply block up here, our order block within our supply zone. But we still have some key targets above us. We still have all the liquidity in this high, and we still have our major golden pocket. So if we're going to finish our golden run, we could come back up here and then maybe break structure or just blast through. But we'd have to look at structure up there. Again, until the 4-hour structure turns bearish, we would just assume the continuation up. What's up, Ryan? What's up, Jillian? So in the Discord this morning, I was talking about how it was very important whether we broke structure here on the 4-hour or whether we SFP'd it. So we then SFP'd it twice, and after we had the 5-minute break of structure following that, because we set a low, set a high, set another low, set a high, set a low, and then broke that high. Whenever we broke that high here, I entered this long trade targeting the weak high on the 4-hour. So that's the trade that we're in right now. It's like a 2.3 to 1 risk to reward. I was looking at maybe waiting for the retrace of this decision block. We ended up getting it, but at the end of the day, it was only a difference of like 3 risk to reward to 2.4. So I just went ahead and hopped in since the risk to reward was already pretty good. Put a 1 in the chat if you're long. Put a 2 in the chat if you're short, or 3 if you're sitting on your hands. I want to see what you guys, how you guys are positioned here before we get into too much more. A lot of hands, couple longs. Your schlong Mac, nice. So we do have a lot of room coming down on these bigger time frames, like on our. We can remove some of this stuff from the weekend stream, without breaking like our 12-hour structure, because our 12-hour low is still down here, right? And then we have like our 6-hour. Our 6-hour low is going to be the same spot, so that's a good area to watch, like 109.300. But again, this is only relevant after we break the 4-hour bearish. Until we break the 4-hour bearish, your assumption should be that weak highs will continue to get broken, as long as we don't close below that 4-hour low, which still currently sitting at well, if this candle closes green, then we move it down here. But as of right now, it's still kind of sitting at 114.750. So if we get a 4-hour close below there, we would be still looking at that to break to flip bearish. So we did do some work down here at the lows. So on our 30-minute, we broke the low. We broke this low. And then we set a high, and then we broke the low again, and we broke that high. So we actually had a 30-minute change of character whenever we came up, or break of structure whenever we came up and broke this high. And then we're kind of retesting that 30-minute high right now. Right? Breakout, retest. If we come above here, we set another low. If we come above here, we have another 30-minute strong low here. We're kind of reclaiming our EMAs, posturing for maybe some more upside. More signs that this trade's kind of looking all right here. So now we know that our 4 hours in an uptrend, our 30 minutes in an uptrend, and our lower time frames are in an uptrend. Let's see, did we have 1 hour? I don't think we had. So we didn't have 1 hour at the lows. We did have 90-minute though. So we have 90-minute uptrend as well. We broke our 90-minute structure bullish here. Yeah, so definitely some promising signs. We got our midterm time frames lining up with our bias time frame, which generally looks pretty good for Bitcoin. Everything changes when you lose you lose like this low, like these lows. Okay, let's take a look at some of our altcoins. So I think ETH finally broke 4 hour that we were waiting for. Let me lower the music here. Sorry, I always forget to turn the music down. ETH finally broke 4 hour. All right. So the level that we were waiting for ETH to break was 4,500, right? And hopefully you guys see now why this was so important to break 4 hour structure. So you get all of these pumps in this consolidation area where you pump up, you pump, you dump, you pump, you dump, you pump, you dump, pump, you dump, pump, you dump. Then you break your 4 hour structure. What happens then? You get a real off to the races pump, right? So again, you'll see this stuff work on all charts, every time frame in real time. And what does that mean for us, right? Well, it means that now you can long Ethereum, kind of similar to what you're looking for on like Sol and all the other coins we were looking at, right? And it's range, initiation, mitigation, continuation would generally be the expectation with rate cuts coming. It's all good, dude. This stuff takes a little while to cement, but once you get it down, the market will make so much more sense, I promise you. When I pull my range deviations, it depends. So this range deviation that I pulled here was on the 5 minute, from the 5 minute high to the 5 minute low. And I was looking at if I might want to set my stop loss below the range deviation, but it turned into like a 1.9 instead of a 2.4. If I had entered here, I probably would have put my stop here. But once we broke, once we started closing candles above 115.275, I feel a lot better about this long anyway. to leave it to run. We got a nice little Wyckoff accumulation model here, right? And then we put a decision block in. We broke structure, retested decision block, and we went up. Range, initiation, mitigation, continuation. Can we look at Sol? Yeah, of course we can look at Sol. So where did Sol go? 243. Right? I prepared you guys for this before the weekend. I said if we hold here, flip it to support, it's going to be a quick move to 143. It's a very quick move to 143. Right? I think the trade we gave was if you close above these highs, you can enter here, stop loss under here to take it up to 243. If anyone took that trade, GG's, congratulations. But it's a new week. What do we see now? So let's go to our 4 hour. So the 4 hour is telling me that Sol probably needs to cool off a little bit. So we come up here to 243. We set a low. We set a low. We set a high, and we break 4 hour bearish. What does this mean? This means caution on Sol. Maybe it's time to rotate into something that freshly broke its 4 hour structure, as opposed to something that's been pumping like crazy, right? Like we were super bullish on Sol down here. Here, I need to clean this chart up so I can make this point. You know what? We're gonna grab a new one. What's something I never use? Here we go. Okay. So where's the bull 4 hour break? 4 hour breaks bearish here, breaks back bullish here. Yeah, so down here. So this is your bull break on your 4 hour. So you consolidate, you break your 4 hour bullish, you mitigate, and then you go up until you have your bear break here. And if you look at this part of the chart, right? Where in this formation, like look at this specifically, like if you look at this formation and you look at ETH, right? So might be time to cool down on Sol and maybe look to trade some other things. But what would change my mind on Sol? Sol would have to flip the 4 hour back bullish. And to do that, you have to break this high. So it goes back to Sol right now is innocent until proven, or is guilty until proven innocent, right? So you would assume that it's going to continue correcting down, probably to this decision block here. Unless it comes up and breaks the 4 hour, and then we can talk about going to some higher targets. Yeah, that's what I see on Sol. We can look at some targets. So if we look at like our daily, where was our last daily strong low? So it was like here. So let's look at where our golden pocket is. Look at that. Golden pocket sitting right at that 4 hour decision block. I would say definitely a key area of interest is going to be 220, like 210 to 220 area. It's a key area of interest. Yeah, guys, like the stream. It really helps me out, guys. Appreciate y'all being here. I got to run another poll on times here. And sorry about yesterday. Let's see. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, I would say hold off on being super bullish on Sol until you break your 4 hour back bullish. Okay. Let's look at Sui. So we didn't quite make it to the golden pocket, but we are coming back down. So it's a similar story here on Sui as on Solana. So you break your 4 hour bearish here. However, you are underneath a fresh 4-hour golden cross with a nice 4-hour trigger wave on Market Cipher forming here. So what would our entry criteria be? Let's look at a smaller time frame. You don't even have 1 hour structure yet. What about 30-minute? Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it yet. So you're under bearish 4-hour now. I would give it some time to set up at least 30-minute structure, because right now your 30-minute high is still sitting way up here, or sorry, way up here. So I mean, if you see SUI get above like 3.73, then maybe there's a chance. But what's more likely than that? A sweep of the low and then go, because that would set a structural high here, right? Break that low, break that high, put a nice stop loss here, entry here to try to get back up. But again, like ETH looks better than this, so I would take a look at ETH for trading. Okay. All right. Any questions about anything that we've gone over, or any coins that you guys want to look at? Doge? Yeah, we can look at Doge. Solana, TF. Solana's been hot. Okay. Doge had its daily golden cross. Nice retest there. It's currently made a new high on the daily. Moves your daily strong low to here. Weekly SFP. Where would we look? So this is your, okay. So this is your strong low on your 4-hour. So Doge, unlike SUI and Sol, Doge looks like it's still holding on to its 4-hour trend for now, which is great, which means that you're just looking for pullback entries, right? It's kind of retesting this demand level here and getting a nice bounce off of that. It's got a nice trigger wave forming here. If we zoom in, do we have any structure here? So not really until about 28 cents or so. Let's see. Not really on 15-minute either. So on 5-minute we do, and on 5-minute, so we have bullish 4-hour and we have bullish 5-minute, which can often be like the first sign that the 4-hour is going to continue. However, what I would like to see, what I would like a little bit better, I still like this trade for continuation. What I would like better is a sweep of this low, then come up and break, and then look to rotate back to the highs. But that doesn't mean we're necessarily going to get it, because Bitcoin's already kind of moving. But yeah, I think Doge looks good. It's still under bullish 4-hour market structure as long as there's not a 4-hour close underneath 25,778. So that's where I'd set my alert. And as long as that holds, you can just keep scalping it up, whatever scalping strategy you use. You're probably going to encounter resistance here at about 27,290. But yeah, innocent until proven guilty on Doge. Yeah, you either get long now with your stop under here, or you risk missing the trade and wait for a sweep of the low. But yeah, I mean, your 4 hours bullish and your 5 minutes bullish. I would assume it's going to start attacking some weak highs. Okay, it's a good fart. Man, TF, that fart trade from 73 cents, man. That was a banger. Down here. Or this was the retrace trade we were looking for, but the demand block at 73 cents. Banger. Let's do some fresh TA here. Okay. Alright, so fart breaks 4-hour market structure. So again, guys, so this is what we were talking about it was either last week or the week before, whenever we were looking at fart a ton, right? We were talking about, let's walk through the trade that when TF asked about fart that we went over, right? So I believe fart was right here when we were looking at it, and we were looking at that 73 cents trade. This is why market structure is so important. So we had come up to what was our 4-hour high, right? We had SFP'd that high multiple times, and we had a breaker block below us down here like 73 cents. So we know that if we want this to make a meaningful move to the upside, we need to see a break of this high. And what happens, we come down to our breaker block. If we go to the 1 hour, do we pull that low? Yeah, we pull that low. So we break 1 hour structure out of our breaker block. So confirmation traders would have got in here, stop loss below here, TP1 at the highs, like a 2-to-1, and then you can leave a runner to our golden pocket target, or just up to, if you want to do like a 3-to-1, or if you want to do, I have like a daily level here, but it doesn't really matter. You could still be in this trade, right? Typically, let's see, it's the 4-hour. Typically, you probably would have taken some profit when we lost this 4-hour low. But yeah, turned into like a 3 risk reward trade. If you get out at resistance, it was like more than that. But the point I was making is, which is actually reaching an interesting level now, because what do we have here? We have range, initiate out of that range, mitigate that range, and then continue. Now, it still has some work to do to break the 4-hour back bullish, because it hasn't even set a high really. So it's got to kind of set a high, break that low, break that high, or it's just not going to give you 4-hour structure on the way up and it's going to come up. But we can always zoom in. Oh yeah, I would like to come here. I would really like to come here. I would really like to come here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm seeing a couple things here. So first thing I'm seeing, I like that the 4-hour has 2 green candles here. It kind of sets the stage for fart to sweep this low into the golden pocket, come up, break that high, and then rotate back to the highs with bullish 4-hour market structure. So this is definitely a trade setup that I really like if this plays out. Also, I like that, I bet if we throw on the 786 here, yeah, so right in the area where we kind of expect it to bounce, we have this decision block demand here right before we broke the 4-hour, or right when we broke the 4-hour, right? So that would be a nice mitigation touch there. That area starts around 77.5-ish, down to like 75. We still do have, did we mitigate this? Hold on, I gotta zoom in a little bit. We did. Okay. I still do like this area down here as well. So these would be kind of like the 3 levels that I'd be looking for, like 74, 77.5, and then just the golden pocket sweep. But really, you're just looking for a meaningful structure break. So we don't have any 1 hour structure until up here. 30 minute? Ooh, okay. So we do have 30 minutes. So we broke 30 minute here. So if you want to take a shot on 30-minute structure, you could take a shot back up to the highs. It's like a 5-to-1 trade. But just understand, if you get stopped out, it's not a bad thing because it'll possibly give you the chance to hop in on 4-hour structure, which is obviously going to be a lot more meaningful of a move, which could take us to attack this week high. Because we have a lot of confluence down here, right? We have this order block, a daily level, a golden pocket, 4-hour market structure. So while this trade is definitely valid, and if you're executing good risk management, it makes sense to take this trade. But the sweep of the low, I like better. So for patient traders, I like 79.4 to like 77.5, somewhere in here. And I would take anything like 5 minute or higher down here on a market structure break. Targeting the week high up here. Or what's the strong high now after the 4-hour break. But it's a 12-hour week high, right? Targeting that. Yeah. Yeah, I think Fart's in a very interesting level. I like it. Yeah, it's EF. I agree. I think Fart's looking good. It's mitigation, right? I mean, this is what we talk about all the time. Range, initiate, mitigate, continue. Let's see, daily. Did we break daily? Man, they didn't give any daily in here. Yeah, you broke 12-hour though. 12 hours bullish after this break. Unless we lose this low. Yeah, that's right, CF. All right. So you can obviously zoom in. So if you're trying to get into like a current 4-hour trend that's still intact, like what we're looking at on like ETH or something that hasn't done what some of these coins have done, which is break like what the Sol coins have done, which is break your 4-hour market structure bearish. Then I want to see like an action, like time frame that has more weight behind it, like a 30-minute or a 1 hour, to kind of get back in, since we're now hopping into a 12-hour trend, right? So since our bias time frame is now the 12-hour, I'm going to want at least like 30-minute or 1 hour structure for my entry time frame. But on something that's already bullish on the 4-hour, like Bitcoin, for example, I'm okay with taking a 5-minute break of structure, because that break of structure is more likely to turn into like a 30-minute break of structure, or like taking out the 4-hour week high, because the trend is already up and the trend is your friend. So you're just trying to get an entry time frame that matches with your bias time frame, which if it's the 4-hour, I generally like the 5-minute for entries. On Bitcoin, it helped that the 30-minute structure was forming at the lows as well. Something that, as you look at market structure on more and more coins, you'll begin to see is like the market structure setups kind of reveal themselves while they're being made, just because of like a risk to reward standpoint, and the market's moved by traders entering longs and shorts, right? So if they're trying to spark demand at the lows, they're going to give you like a market structure setup that makes sense at risk to reward. Yeah, so for example, to clarify, if you're 4 hours in a downtrend, right, taking a 5-minute uptrend break doesn't make much sense, because it's more likely than not that 5-minute break will just fail and lead to another lower low. But if you're in a 4-hour uptrend, taking a 5-minute break of structure at the lows makes a lot more sense, because it's a lot more likely that that's going to be a meaningful market structure break and lead to an actual meaningful attack of that week high. Hopefully that makes sense. Throw a 1 in chat if that makes sense. All right, cool beans. And similarly for your 12-hour, right? If you're in a 12-hour uptrend, like the 30-minute is similar to the 5-minute on 4-hour. I know the math doesn't make sense. It would be like 15-minute, but it's just the way that I look at it, right? So don't get caught up on the math. But like a 30-minute is more likely to lead to a meaningful attack of the 12-hour week high versus like a 5-minute where you're likely to get faked out. All right, any questions on that or any other coins you guys want to look at? We also had our nice little 50 crosses 200 retest trade here, which is nice. Coupled with also a retest of the highs and a SFP, kind of right when I was starting the stream. Oh, I thought we SFP'd. We didn't take that. Wait, hold on. Oh, we didn't take that low. I thought we took that low. Interesting. Okay, cool. Wasn't even SFP. Awesome, Brian. Good to hear it. Stick around, man. SCI? Yeah, we can look at SCI. Okay. Man, SCI got a nice push up. It hit the target around 34.10. It's great to see. We hit our liquidity target. Man. All right, let's do some fresh TA here. Start with the weekly here. All right, so your weekly breaks back into an uptrend here. Downtrend. Yeah, your weekly breaks back into an uptrend here. So you're in like kind of a fresh weekly uptrend. Well, it's been a couple weeks. It's been flagging out kind of at the highs. So our daily breaks bearish here. Sets a high, breaks back bullish here. Then comes down to kind of the lows, kind of like an order block, probably on your 4-hour. Yeah. This kind of low range area mitigates that, comes back up. So your daily is under bullish market structure. You have this little order block here we're bouncing off of. We got to zoom in a little bit because you're not getting much info here. All right. So your 4-hour breaks bearish here. You get a nice drop initiation down. So SEI, similarly to some of the other coins we were looking at, is under bearish 4-hour market structure. So it's got some work to do. There's a couple levels that immediately kind of grab my attention. The first one being kind of where we're at now. But we kind of already tested this, so I do like it. But the problem is I would need this candle to close green, a sweep of the low, and then a sweep of the high. Get in here, stop loss under here to attack this high. The trade would look like this, right? So you'd wait for confirmation, hop in. It's like a 4-to-1 trade to the highs. That's what I would take here. Because otherwise you're just in bearish, right? So it's more likely that you're just going to smash your head here and make another low. Where would you make that other low? This is the area of interest that catches my eye a little bit more. This kind of decision block right at the top of this accumulation range here. And if we grab a fib, yeah, look at that. So, Joey, I would be watching around like 30 cents level, about here. And I would take, it's going to be 30-minute here because of the 4-hour downtrend. So if you get 30-minute market structure down here at this decision block, golden pocket combo, enter here, stop loss below here. That looks like a really good risk to reward trade. If you get that, it's like a 6, yeah. So I'd take either one of those two. I'd take the 4-hour sweep at the level we're at now, or I'd take the second drop level 30-minute break of structure. Okay. Arrow? Yeah, we can look at arrow. All right. Let's start over. Let's look at our weekly. Okay. So we pulled our daily bearish here, but the close, it kind of looks like an SFP. Like it's not convincing. It's not a convincing break to me, but it's just something to be aware of. We did break the daily bearish. So let's zoom in and see if we can get some more information here. You break your 4-hour bearish here, you then turn around and break it back bullish here, you mitigate, you blow off top, you come back down, break it bearish here, come back up, drop, structure breaks back bullish, structure breaks back bullish here, sets your strong low down here, then you set a low here, break it, break bearish here, and then have a fresh. All right, so you're in a fresh 4-hour bull break right now. So this is what I see. If you get 15-minute into this, I'd take it. I like this better though, but again, it's just where you get the structure, right? But I like this like 120 area better, but anywhere kind of in this area with a 15-minute break, TP1 at your highs, and then ultimate target is going to be running the high here. That's what I see on arrow. Any 15-minute break in this area here, I would take targeting the highs. Awesome. Anything else you guys want to look at? What's Biddy doing? Yeah, Ryan, there's a full market structure course on my YouTube channel. It's a couple hours long, and we go over everything in the live stream. So on Bitcoin, if we break this low here, that's going to give us a 5-minute bearish break of structure, which is something we're aware of for like our longs, right? Because it could lead us to attacking these lows again. But we also understand that our 4 hours bullish, we had some SFPs down here. Maybe we have to come down, maybe retest this decision block again. Although we have kind of mitigated everything on the way up, but with it being a news week, I wouldn't be surprised, right? What does this present? This presents an opportunity, because why is this an opportunity if we break this? Because we know that the 4 hour is bullish. We know that we have tons of support in here. And we know that if there's a bearish break on the 5-minute, that means that after we break that, we have to then break it bullish again, which creates a fresh opportunity for a fresh long targeting this high and ultimately targeting the 4-hour week high. Right? So understanding that, if this candle closes green on Bitcoin, the 4-hour is not bearish unless we break this low down here, 114,400. So as long as we don't break that, any 5-minute break on the way down after we break bearish structure is going to lead you another opportunity for a long to come back up to some of these key targets. All right, guys. Well, if there isn't any further coins you guys want to look at, ETH is ready for all you guys who've been waiting for me to tell you that ETH has broke 4-hour structure. Hopefully, you guys knew that at 4,500, and maybe you caught some of the explosive move up after we broke that. But either way, ETH looks ready to me. So have fun with that, unless we break the prior lows, right? Yeah, thank you guys for y'all that stop by every single day. I appreciate y'all. Mad love and respect. My name's Wave Cipher. Much love. Trade safe. Wave Cipher out.